Bum, bum, ba bum, 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 bum. So, this is another video for Deadzone Escalation, and today we are looking at the Mazon Labs. Now, the Mazon Labs started in Star Saga, effectively, and they are the main enemy, in a sense, that you fight in the base box. You fight lab technicians, you fight security guards, marines, plague victims, rangers of various strands, and then there's some of the bosses. So hello, another video for Deadzone Escalation, and today we are looking at the Mazon Labs. So the Mazon Labs started in Star Saga. They are the main antagonistic force you find there. You fight lab technicians, security guards, marines, abomination, only one, plague victims, rangers, that sort of thing. I'll get on to Star Saga at some point, but not yet. There's a couple of bosses, obviously. And the background behind the Mazon Labs is they are one of the Council of Seven's best scientific divisions, scientific corporation, corporate thing, I suppose. They are the kind of scientific people that would kick your dog down the stairs, run over him, throw him off of a bridge, shoot him, bring him back to life, do it all over again. For science, obviously, you know, not doing it because they want to, for science. And that's why they like looking at people that have been infected with the plague, and doing weird scientific things to other living creatures. You know, for science, you have to understand. For science, nothing else, nothing else. So starting with, on page 82, we have the leaders. We only have two. They are technically living legends, but you can swap out the gear and give them items, because otherwise, because they're the only two leaders, it would be unfair. So starting with Dr. Lucas Coiner, 26.3 victory points. Move 1-2, arm 0, size 1. Shoot and fight 5, survive of 4. Tactician 2, frenzy 1, and medic. Has anaesthetic injectors, 2 versions, one's range F stun and one's range 1 stun. He has laser cutter, which is range 2, AP 1, it burns. Weapon options: leader, small arms. Recon 6+, and the splat is fast acting serum. Use an army special result to replace a model from your strike team that has just been killed with a plague victim model. This model is placed pinned and activated in the same cube as the killed model and can activate as normal from the next round. In all ways, this new model acts as a member of your strike team. Victory points are scored for killing both the original model and if the new plague model victim is killed. That basically means if the model your opponent's just killed is turned into a plague victim and your opponent kills the plague victim, you get both amounts of victory points, so be careful there. The fast acting serum takes precedence over any other similar rules such as plague infection. So in a previous video we talked about the stage 1A. I believe it's the stage 1A. Let me look here. No, the stage 3A general. That means if the plague force kills a model, you use a splat to turn it into a zombie. This works over that, so you can't turn them into a zombie if the Mazon Lab player uses fast acting serum. Lucas Cunha, you might want to change out the aesthetic and injector for the officer's sword if you want. Fighting on 5s is not horrible, and he's got frenzy ones, so you've got a bit of give and take there. Small arms, you could replace the range 1 anesthetic injector with the laser rifle if you want. Maybe. I'd probably leave him as he is, because just keep him as cheap as possible. He's got medic, which if someone else is the same cube, he gets that. He's got frenzy and tactician too. His recon's a bit weak, but is there more for supporting people around the board. Lastly, for the leaders, we have Guard Commander Greaves. 22 points, 2 victory points. Move 1-2, arm 1, size 1. Shooter 4, fighter 5, survivor 5, tactician 1 and strategist. Laser pistol, range 3, weight fire 1. Bionic arm, range F, AP 1, knockback. Weapon options, small arms, leader, light, brackets, all. Recon 5 plus and splat is head of security. You may spend an armor special result to give the active model a free fire for effect action. You may only use this once per activation. The splat, I'd say if the model has rapid fire, yeah, then it works, but otherwise it can't. I've not used Guard Commander Graves. I've used Lucas Cunha. He's not too bad. He's a little bit squishy because he hasn't got any armor, and his fight and shoot is fairly average. But I'd like to use Graves because he's got a great choice of weapons and he shoots on force. I mean, you can give him the marksman rifle, you can give him the shock baton if you really want, officer's sword, which nah, energy gauntlet, nah. You could give him a laser carbine if you want, grenade launcher, thermal rifle, flamethrower. You've got all that choice of stuff. I'd probably give him the marksman rifle. Yes, that makes him 30 points and 3 victory points, but he's shooting on 4s, he's got armour, and he's average at close combat, so I'd probably do that if it was me. Definitely replace the pistol, because the pistol, range 3, weight fire 1, it's all or nothing, I suppose. Next we have the troops on page 83. Starting with the Mazon Lab Technician. 6 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, arm 0, size 1. Shoot of 6, fighter 5, survivor 6. Shock baton, range F, knockback. And that's pretty much it. The Lab Technician, they're not amazing, but they're cheap. That's why you take them, because they're cheap. So you can get a load of other stuff. You could essentially treat the Lab Technician as a slightly more expensive zombie. These are slightly better than zombies because they can actually fight slightly, and they can help with rampage, which there's 2 models that's got rampage. Obviously one that's got rampage is an aberration, so you can't have it in the same cube, but the plague victim, you can help with the rampage there. Next we have the Mazon Lab Security, 8 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, arm 0, size 1. Shoot of 5, fight of 6, survivor 5. Laser rifle, range 6, rapid fire. Weapon options, small arm, so you could swap out with shotgun. Nah. The security guards, still not bad. If you want a bit of cheap shooting, take these. Shooting on 5s with a laser rifle, you could get a chance to suppress. They aren't awful, but you take them because they're cheap. Lastly, for the troops, we have the Urbana Blackwing Marine. 11 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, arm 0, size 1. Shoot, fight and survive of 5. Laser carbine, range 6, rapid fire, weight fire 1. I can't see the point of taking these. These are too expensive for what you're going to get. I mean, they are kind of right on the points cost for what they are, but considering what else you take as troops, for Mazon Labs you are basically taking troops to unlock everything else. The troops have no real benefit apart from they might shoot something, or they might do combat, or they might stun, they might do knockback with the shock baton, or they might suppress. Other than other than that, most troops for the other forces do have a purpose other than unlocking other stuff. The troops from Mazon Labs, you take them because they unlock other stuff. You're basically paying a zombie tax, but these do slightly more. Next we have the specialists, starting on page 84. Aberration Specimen, 40 points, 4 victory points. Mover 1-2, arm 1, size 4. No shoot value, but fighting on 3s, 5 or 4s. Rampage and tough. Talons, range F, AP 2, knockback. Everyone likes an aberration. It's big, it's tough. The only downside is rampage. It fights really well. It survives really well. It's got AP, it's got knockback. It is expensive, but that's offset by the fact that troops are really cheap. So you could have a fair few. You could say have one of these in a Strider if you want, which means you've got something good at close combat that's tough, and you've got something that's good at range that's really tough. Take your pick. Next we have the Cravastator. 26 points, 3 victory points. The Cravastator is basically a really armoured cyborgish spider. You don't see the head. The head's encased in some sort of weird helmet thing. Most of the body is really. Move 2-3, armour 1, size 3. No shoot value, but fighting on 4, survival 5. Agile and beast. Proboscis, range F, AP 1, toxic 1. The aberration is a beast as well. It just doesn't say in the book, but it has been FAQ'd. Proboscis, range F, AP 1, toxic 1. The Cravastator is a cheaper, faster version of the aberration, effectively. Toxic 1 is kind of better in some ways than the Talons of the aberration, and the speed is nothing to be laughed at. I mean, and it hasn't got rampage, so there is that. Also, you can fit another model in there with it, so you could take a plague victim and a Cravastator for one aberration, because it's still slightly cheaper. So Organics Data Storage Unit, 26 points, 3 victory points. Move 1-2, arm 0, size 3. Shooter 5, survive 6, fighter 5. Psychic, Frenzy 1, Energy Shield 2. Mind Blast, range 4 Psychic Blast. Mind Terror, range 4 Psychic Stun. Hyperkinesis, range 4 Psychic Invigorate. Electrical Discharge, range F Knockback. So its fighting is average, its shooting is, well, it's average, but it's psychic, so take it as. The thing with the Organics Data Storage Unit is, do not discount it in a fight. Yes, its fight is 5, but because it's size 3, because it's got fringes, because it's got the energy shields, it can hold up pretty well. If it goes up against something, say an aberration or something that's big and really meant for fighting, chances are it only lasts 2 turns at most. But if you go against something that's alright at fighting but smaller, you probably will survive a lot longer than they realise. Main thing I'd use it for is the Invigorate, so units can activate again. It might seem expensive victory points wise, but if you keep it near the back or move it with Konya, so he's got the medic on, you do get some uses out of it. Next we have the Plague Victim, 11 points, 1 victory point. Move 2-3, arm 0, size 1. No shoot value, but fighter 4, survival 5. Beast, Frenzy 1, Rampage. These are the cheap close combat specialists. You could take a load of these and a load of lab technicians. So these are moving forwards. If they get shot while they're in a cube with someone with a shock baton, the frenzy doesn't activate. So you could mix and match that way. The only way I take plague victims if I'm taking Konya, so I can turn people into plague victims. You're only getting another victory point. Take a load of lab technicians, let them die. Well, not let them die, but move them forward and get them so the plague victims can get closer to the enemy really quick. Next is the Albano Blackwing Engineer, 12 points, 2 victory points. Move 2-3, arm 0, size 1. Fight, shoot and survive of 5. Engineer and Hacker. Pistol, range 3. Weapon options, small arms. Just give it a rifle, just so it's got a bit of range on it. I want to see them. I want to see the engineers work, but I really can't see people taking them. I understand Mantic wanting people to take them, but they take up a specialist slot, and in every force, every other specialist is better. Even if you're taking objectives, every other specialist is better. So really, I would not bother. But prove me wrong. Next we have the Albana Blackwing Ranger. 16 points, 2 victory points. Move 1-2, arm 1, size 1. Shoot, fight and survive 5, and scout. Laser carbine, range 6, rapid fire, weight of fire 1. The Ranger isn't bad. He unfortunately takes up a specialist slot, but he has scout. He's alright. He's alright. Albana Blackwing Ranger Specialist. 16 points, 2 victory points. Move 1-2, arm 1, size 1. Shoot, fight and survive 5. He's just basically a Blackwing Ranger, but he's got hacker and the weapon options are different. So weapon options, small arms, light brackets, assault, explosive, marksman. So you can take a flamethrower, you can take a thermal rifle, you can take a grenade launcher, you can take a laser carbine, you can take a marksman rifle. You've got choices. I'd probably go with a marksman rifle or a grenade launcher, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I do have the thermal rifle, so it is going to make them expensive, and their stats are very average. That is your problem. It hasn't got scout as well, like the normal Ranger. I don't know why they haven't. I can see them being overlooked for a lot of the other specialists because the other specialists kind of fit more better. I don't know. I'd like to see Rangers work. I've got a few built up, so we'll have to see. Next we have the Corporation Medibot. 18 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, arm 0, size 1. No fight or shoot value, but survive 5. Construct and medic. Defender shield, and that's it. So I'll get on to it in a minute, but I'll explain the next one. Albana Blackwing Medic. 12 points, 2 victory points. Move 1-2, arm 0, size 1. Shoot 5, fight 5, survivor 5. Medic. Pistol, range 3. Weapon options, small arms. I give him a rifle, so it's got a bit of range on it. So now I'll talk about these two. You take the medic because it's 6 points cheaper than a medbot, so you could take a lab technician to unlock a Blackwing medic if you want. It can at least shoot and fight, so you've got that. But the medbot has got a defender shield, and because it's got because it's a construct, it's unaffected by toxin and it can't be pinned, which in some ways you could say is better. That's why you're paying the extra 6 points. It depends what you want. Do you want a really defensive medic? Go for the medbot, because the defender shield means everyone else in the same cube gets +1 armor. So Cavastator gets to be armor 2, size 3. Rangers get to be armor 2. The leaders get +1 armor and resilience 1, because medic gives +1 resilience. There is a point in taking either of them, to be honest, but I would give the medic a rifle. I mean, rifle's only 2 points, so it makes it 14 points. The medic's also 1 extra victory point, whereas the medbot is only 1 victory point rather than 2. So they both have their uses, is what I'm saying. Lastly, we have the only living legend, so you can't give it any items, you have to leave it as is, and you can only take 1 of each living legend, and in this case there's only 1. Subject 109. Sorry, Subject 901. 24 points, 3 victory points. Move 1-2, armor 1, size 2. No shoot value, but fight of 4 and survive of 4. Tactician 1, Rampage, Frenzy 2. Teeth and Claws, Range F, AP 2. He's pretty nice actually. He's pretty nice. He's kind of like a plague victim but bigger. He's got frenzy, he's got the armour, he's tougher. He's nearly half the points of an aberration. I can see the point in taking him here. I don't think he'd be overshadowed by a lot of the other stuff, unlike Plague where it kind of is. You could take a lab technician or a security guard, and also taking members still have points left over, rather than an aberration and not have points left over. So that's it for the specialists. Then we have the vehicles on page 86. The only vehicle is the Urbana Blackwing Strider, 30 points, 3 victory points. Move 1-2, arm 3, size 4. Shoot, fight and survive of 5. Beast construct solid. Weapon options, hard points 2, walker, brackets all, and support, brackets all, walker. So you've got Polaris Cannon, which is got good range and got good AP, so taking out other Striders or Iron Ancestors. You've got the Chainsaw, which has got good AP and a good close combat weapon. You've got the Assault Flamer, which isn't bad. It's a bit short range and it can blow it and it can be destroyed, so watch out for that. Heavy Burst Laser's got good range in suppressors. You've got the Gravram Spear, which is a good close combat weapon and a good range weapon. It's a bit short range, but it's got frag. The Aggressor Shield increases the armor to 4. The Shoulder Rockets is 1 use, but it's a frag weapon, so you've got that option. The Smoke Launchers, yes, it's only 1 use and it's short range, but you've got some smoke. I always like Striders. You could take a Strider with a Heavy Burst Laser, and you could take an Aberration. So you've got good close combat and good range, suppressed with the Strider, and then have the Aberration rush in to kill them if the Strider hasn't already. Strider's just good. The stats are average, but you're in an armor 3 size 4 model. 30 points, 3 victory points. I've never seen a Strider without any weapons. Someone let me know in the comments below if it's a good idea. So lastly, we have the weapons and items. Pistol, you can take a pistol as well as another item. Doesn't take up a default weapon. So you can take a pistol and say flamethrower, sniper rifle, stuff like that. Pistol, 1 point, range 3. Laser rifle, 2 points, range 6, rapid fire. Shotgun, 1 point, range 2, knockback. Flamethrower, 4 points, range 2, volatile, it burns. Thermal rifle, 7 points, 1 victory point, range 4, AP 2. Grenade launcher, 8 points, 1 victory point, range 5, indirect 3. Laser carbine, 4 points, range 6, weight fire 1, rapid fire. Marksman rifle, 8 points, 1 victory point, range 8, hollow sight. They're nice. Shock baton, 2 points, range F, knockback. They're right, I suppose. Polaris cannon, which takes up 2 hard points. 10 points, 1 victory point, range 10, AP 4. Chainsaw, 8 points, 1 victory point, range F, AP 2, frenzy 1. Assault flamers, 6 points, range 2, AP 1, volatile, it burns. Heavy burst laser, which takes up 2 hard points. 8 points, 1 victory point, range 10, weight fire 2, suppression. Gravram spear, 12 points, 1 victory point, range F, AP 2, and range 4, AP 2, frag 3. Aggressor shield, 8 points, 1 victory point, walk shield, which gives the Strider +1 armour. Shoulder rockets, which do not take up any hard points. 6 points, range 3, 1 use, frag 3, grenade. Smoke launchers, 3 points, range 3, 1 use, smoke grenade. Energy gauntlet, 5 points, range F, knockback. Officer's sword, 5 points, range F, AP 1. And the items. Adrenaline shot at 2 points, ammo at 2 points, AP ammo at 4 points. Frag grenade at 6 points, med pack at 4 points. Monowheel scout bike, yes you can have a lot of these, at 5 points. Sentry gun at 8 points. Smoke grenade at 3 points. Stimulant shot at 3 points. Stun grenade at 4 points. Thermal mines at 4 points. And trip mines at 6 points. what the Mazon Labs try to do is try to do the cheapness of troops of the GCPS with the ferocity of close combat of the Plague, and they kind of succeed in that regard. They have got the Aberration, they've got the Cravastator, they've got the Plague Victim, they've got Subject 901, and if you arm them right, the Striders for your close combat. For the cheapness of troops, you've got the Lab Technician, which averages close combat. You've got the Security Guard. You've also got a bit of range support with the Rangers. You've also got the Striders, which good in all situations. You've got the 2 medical options, which will help in this force, I do think. You've also got your leaders, which kind of suggest how you play your force in some regards. Commander Greaves means you are kind of going for a shooty force, having a fair few security guards and maybe a fair few rangers. While Konya, you probably want to take lab technicians because they are cheap, and probably take a load of weird close combat stuff. Leave the Plague Victims alone if you take Konya, because with his splats you can evolve people into Plague Victims in a way. I've played Mazon Labs before. I've had a mixed success. I've not, well, I say I've had a mixed success. I've not won any games, but when I've played them, the opponents haven't been expecting everything, because you've got Konya reviving people to make them Plague Victims so they can rush in and do close combat. You've got Striders, which you could fit 2 Striders in 150 point force really easily. You've got the Aberration, which, like I say, if you tag team the Aberration with the Strider, you can really ruin someone's day. You've got the Organic Status Storage Unit, which means you can take this, you can take a load of things that can invigorate people and make them activate again. Don't take too many, because they might survive a few turns, but when your opponent gets to them, they will die. So yeah, the Mazon Lab, you don't have to get Star Saga to actually build the Mazon Labs. You can have a GCPS leader to be your card Commander Greaves. You could convert fairly easy, if you know what you're doing, to have Lucas Konya. Everyone else is fairly easy to get up and running without Star Saga. Have a I can't remember what they're called, but that's what the data storage unit looks like. They are mercenaries, so you can buy them without going to Star Saga, and then you can cyborg them up. The Plague Victims just use stage 3 A's without rifles, or Plague Zombies, I suppose, they could work. The rest is Subject 901 you can get, and the rest is essentially GCPS. I'm going to say they are a good starting force. Cheap troops, good specialists. Apart from the engineer, I ain't seen it, guys. I ain't seen the point of engineers in most forces. Yeah, but I'd say they are a really good starting force. If you're buying Star Saga, you've got most of the stuff already. So yeah. So that's it. Goodbye for now.